Hey guys, it's Matt Z from Optimus Futures. This is my first video and podcast for the year of 2022. If it's not too late, I wish you a happy and above all healthy 2022. We're still going through this coronavirus thing, all kinds of variations. We went through Delta to Omicron. So I hope this year we'll get some resolution to the whole thing, and I hope that it will go away. I hope we'll find the right things to handle this virus. And again, as I said, I wish you a lot of health. This year was obviously a very challenging year for all of us. We will encounter continuous challenging markets, in my opinion, in the year of 2022. Um, the markets are always challenging, but I think because of the circumstances that we live in, you guys have to formulate a plan. I always say that plans are very important for trading because it gives you guidance and you avoid being spontaneous. You trade with some sort of a method as opposed to just being all over the place and every morning trying to determine, whether the markets are going up or down. Instead, you have a method that you will act upon when the markets do what they do. I hope you'll improve on your risk management, which I really think is the main core and the foundation behind any good trading. I believe that the most important thing is still until today is risk management, your decision making, your psychology. Methods are important, but whatever you feel comfortable with, you can trade. One method is not better than another. Somebody who uses Excel spreadsheets, I don't necessarily think is better than anyone who uses simple support and resistance. But I think that the risk management that they will use, how they handle their losses, how they handle the ups or the downs, the leverage that they use, the size that they use will eventually determine the outcome and the results of their trading. If there's anything that I would like to give you in the beginning of this month, just the first month of the year, for the rest of the year, as I'm sure you've made a lot of resolutions to exercise, maybe trade better, read more books, whatever the case is, do more things, travel more, whatever you decided. I would tell you that the most important thing that I would like to share with you right now that I feel very strongly about is really looking at the big picture. What I think you should stop doing is really analyzing every trade that you do and start looking at the very big picture. And when I talk about the big picture, I want you to start thinking about the Pareto law. The Pareto law states it's not a mathematical law, by the way. There is no math behind it. It's more than anything, it's an observation that was done by an Italian mathematician, probably over 100 years ago, of how things work in nature and decision making and everything else. And eventually it led to what we call today the 80-20 rule, which means that 20% of the actions you take will lead to 80% of the consequences, which really means that when you make decisions, good 20% of good decisions could lead to 80% of your success. It applies in business where they say, 20% of your clients give you 80% of your revenue, or it could mean in other avenues, other things. But it's something that exists in all businesses and in nature and in population. Sometimes it's not an even 80-20, but the idea is that there's always a small number of things that controls a larger number of things. If you think about wealth, for example, people say, well, there's 1% of the population controls, 90% of the wealth. Well, that's also part of the Pareto law because that's how things turn out to be. So when you think about trading in that sense, think about for a minute what it means in your trading. It means that if you do 10 trades, 2 out of those trades could lead to 80% of the revenue that you have. Why is this important? Why is it important to start focusing on the 20% as opposed to every single trade that you do? Because a single trade in your method, whether you find it hard to believe or not, is irrelevant. And what do traders do? Traders focus on every single trade that they do. They focus on first trade, second trade, third trade, fourth trade. And the reason they do that is because they think that if they do things somehow differently that time with that trade, it would lead to better results. My suggestion is to stop analyzing or microanalyzing. And when you have a bigger sample, look at the 20% that you traded, have done well, and continue doing that. So even if you'll continue focusing and doing only the 20%, even within that 20%, which will eventually turn out to be hopefully your 100%, you will still have the same math. It would lead to that, but you have to keep on improving. And I think that will give you a better idea of your strengths and what you're doing right, and you'll stop microanalyzing every single trade, which is really a waste of time. Because in the long run, every single trade could be a result of something that you didn't necessarily do wrong. Think about it. I mean, every single trade that you do, it doesn't mean that, at that point in time you were wrong. You could have been right. You could have obeyed your method. Your method could be right. And, something happened in the market. Maybe there was a bigger trader than you who dumped a lot of positions, right? So you're going long the micro E-mini S&P, and somebody else comes in and he just dumps a bunch of them, and it stopped you out. So are you going to sit there and say, okay, I did something wrong? Or you're going to say, okay, it just happened. Let's see what the other trades do. So that sort of an analysis will be healthier. It would lead to better results. It will not frustrate you with every single trade. And you will realize why, at the end of the day, you can have a lot of losses and still walk away with profits. I'm not saying that this is something that you should understand, immediately when you trade, because it's hard to grasp that. It's hard to grasp that, there will be a small number of trades that could overcome a bunch of losses, but you'll also have to learn how to let those profits run. So it's not, done in day one, but at least if you have the right direction, if you understand the Pareto law, and I really think you should, I'm going to post a link from Wikipedia to the Pareto law, but I think you should start thinking about that in your trading, right? And as you go through the ups and downs of trading as well. So let's say that you do have a method that is a winning method. There will be periods that there will be losses. So your equity run will go up, and there will be a drawdown, and then it will continue going up, and there will be a drawdown, and then it goes up, and there's a drawdown. So majority of the time, in my personal opinion, even successful traders are in a state of a drawdown because they reach new highs and it gets away from new highs, right? And then they reach new highs and then it gets away from new highs. So you're constantly in this battle to walk away from your drawdowns, or not necessarily walk away, but to overcome. That's more appropriate to say. So think about that, right? Think about all that you throughout your life don't analyze every single action that you take throughout the day. Why would you do it in trading? Now, if you take a bunch of bad decisions all the time, then you say, okay, you know what, I'm making bad decisions. I see their consequences. That is the one thing that I wanted to really emphasize for this year, for your trading, and making sure that as you observe the decision making that you have and understanding the Pareto law. Why will it help you? It will help you because you will not treat your losses as tragic, meaning that you'll understand it's just part of trading is losing, right? You will stop changing your methods all the time. Some people go through 4 or 5 losses, they go back, start changing their losses, but they don't understand the statistics. They don't understand the stats behind trading. They don't understand Pareto law does exist in the world of trading. And you really have to start paying attention to that. So it will bring you, in my opinion, again, good things in terms of thinking. So you will not get tragic when you go through losses, and you will not change methods, right? So that will help you eventually come to a coherent type method with the proper risk management that fits your personality. Now, look, I don't want to always be negative, right? You could have sequence of very good decisions as well. You know, it happens as well, right? Like even if your equity goes up and it just one trade after another trade after another trade after another trade is a winning trade, it's something that you have to realize that in the average of things, that will still be not the majority of your trades, right? So again, realize that when you go through that, always remember the big picture. And at that point, you will not get overconfident, because that also leads to bad things. Getting depressed over bad trades, or maybe I don't want to use clinical terms, maybe it's a clinical terms, but let's say you're not feeling the greatest, and it's understandable. But at the same time, you don't want to be euphoric when you go through a sequence of events that are just amazing and be overconfident, because you'll remember the big picture, and it's the Pareto law that smaller number of trades would lead to a bigger profit, right? But again, as I mentioned, you have to learn to let your profits run, to implement the Pareto law well. If you keep on taking losses all the time, but at the same time, the minute you see a little profit on a method, although it was just the right setup and you were expecting the market to move in a certain way with that method, let the method finish itself, right? So method is executing the trade, method finish the trade, or get out of the trade if it didn't work out. But you have to do it. Once you start interfering in between the method, you're killing the Pareto law, and you're killing your method, right? Then just the whole math breaks out, and and it never turns out to be a good result, right? So the math just breaks. Keep that in mind. So let's just make a little bit of a summary to give you an idea of what good trading is from a Pareto law perspective. You will have a small number of trades that could lead to a very positive outcome if you have a good method. But it does not mean that the majority of your decisions, even with a good method, will be the right decisions. Some people believe that they have to be 70% right. Some people believe they have to be 50-50. Some people believe that they can even get away with being 80% wrong. Pareto law is not a pure division of the 80-20 number. It's very important to remember it could be even as 90-10, or it could be 70-30. Because again, we're not working with a mathematical formula. We're working with some sort of an estimation and an observation in nature and in business and in life, that a small number of decisions lead to bigger number of consequences, or I shouldn't say bigger number of consequences, but to small number of decisions could lead to larger, I'll keep it, okay, we'll say to larger consequences, right? You understand at this point what the law is, and again, there will be a link below that you can read about it more. But again, I want to emphasize that this is not precise science. This is something that just exists in nature and in trading in particular. Why did I even think about this, and what inspired me to do this video? And I might sound repetitive on some things, but that's only because I really want you to understand it, right? And those people, and I believe that those of you who listen to the video till the end, you're doing real justice for yourself. The reason that I focused on that is because I started asking myself the question of, why would trading be any different than anything else? And it's not. People say, well, it's a business. Well, when you have a business and you sell things, again, the revenue comes from, again, not specifically in those numbers, it could vary, but a small number of customers could lead to a large number of revenue, right? So think of your trades. Small number of trades could lead to a larger number, of profitable trades, and that's your revenue as well. And I start thinking, you know what? It just works the same way. These laws that exist out there work here, and nobody is talking about it. Now, I don't want to I don't want to put down people in the industry. There's brilliant people, and a lot of people do say that, you can have more losses than profits, and it works out that way. There's a lot of professional money managers, like commodity trading advisors, that make more losses, but some of them are trend followers, for example, so they will follow one trend for a very long time that potentially covers all the losses. But they don't understand. But their followers don't understand, where is it coming from. They think it's very unique to them, but they don't understand that essentially that could happen. It comes from natural laws. Now, if you're a day trader and you do a lot of day trading transactions, since your day in itself is a business, it could happen even on a daily basis. It could happen then on a weekly basis, and then it could happen on a monthly basis. What do I mean by that? I mean that during the day, if you take a lot of transactions, maybe a smaller number of transactions will lead to your profitable day. And during the week, the total number of the transaction you take will lead to do that week being profitable. And if you have a profitable month, then again, you'll have a small number of, let's say, 80-20, of 20% of your trades leading to 80% of your profits. And so it's important, in my opinion, to look at the monthly, not necessarily the daily, although you could look, but you could say, what have I done throughout the day that is really good? What have I done throughout the week that was really good? What have I done throughout the month that was really good? To focus on those trades that lead to your good decision making. And this is what you keep on improving. This is what you focus on. You can even think of state of mind that you are in. So let's say, you traded for a month and you say, you know what, on Fridays, it's really not good days for me. It's just not good days. Maybe I'm exhausted from the week. I feel refreshed on Mondays and I make better decisions. It could be quite the opposite. You could notice all of a sudden from big numbers that Fridays are your best days because you're excited for the weekend. But Mondays, you're not so excited. I'm myself not that excited, but, for Mondays, but maybe you're different. So you see where I'm going with this? You start looking at the part that led to the good decisions. This is what you keep on focusing on. It's very hard to be original in trading and always come up with new angles to look at trading. I try my best. I believe that it would really help you listening to my podcasts, my videos, and every single one of them, I try to put a different angles that just to show you how to approach it. Trading is very challenging. It's a challenging business. You need to approach it with the right psychology. I thought I'll share the Pareto law with you so you can at least start this year on some sort of a new thought, a new angle. And of course, listen, I wish you nothing but the best. I'm proud of you guys who get up in the morning and trade. You take risks every day. There's something to be said about that. You're real risk takers, right? You don't know if you're going to end up, positive that day, negative. That's why I do those videos, to help out those that I feel are very courageous and are risk takers. I hope that we will have a good year as well at Optimus Futures 2021. We were very blessed. A lot of customers came. I'm really happy with what we have built. We brought Optimus Flow, our own platform. We brought the journal that we give free of charge to customers, and we'll keep on evolving it this year. We have very tough competition, but they're really good competition. And it's important to be competitive in this business because then you improve the services for customers and you guys determine what's right for you. So I hope you'll join us at Optimus Futures this year. Again, if you're looking for a broker, I would love to be a broker. My team here is a really good team and, would love to service you. try out our platform, Optimus Flow. If you have any questions, please call us. It's 1-800-771-6748. If you have any other questions about opening an account or helping you out in any way, go to support@optimusfutures.com. I'd love to hear from you. And even if you need general advice, look, I'm just another person working in the company. I talk to the customers all the time. If I need to give you a helping hand, if you need some guidance, be more than happy. So reach out. I wish you a happy and healthy 2022. Lots of prosperity to you, your family, your neighbors, your community. Nothing but good things and the best that life can offer. Thank you and all the best.